first guest speaker, who is actually Miss Clara Liew, the chapter lead of WomenWill from Kuching. So just a brief of her profile: graduating from distinction and a full scholarship for Bachelor of Arts in Literature, Clara's forte lies in communication, leading to many successful collaboration and executions in her career of creative production, marketing, and events. Today, she is a writer, editor, producer, marketer, and one of the most sought after all-rounder masters of ceremonies in town. Clara has lent her service and expertise to various private and government organizations, corporations, and NGOs. With her years of experience and natural aptitude, she is also known for her passion and participation in developing the local scene, talent, and community. Believing in the values of lifelong learning and giving back, Clara has taken up several volunteering roles, including the lead for WomenWill, in Sarawak, to empower women in the local community. So, Clara.
Hello.
Welcome,
Hi, thank you for the
welcome
introduction, Malcolm.
welcome to the event. And would you be kind to share a little bit more about yourself before you follow through with your sharing today?
Sure, no problem. Thank you. Thank you, Malcolm. Hello, guys. Thank you also to SIC for having me today. I think before I proceed, allow me to share my screen, if that's possible. So it seems like we have quite a group today. And I heard that we have a mix of students and also young working adults with us. Okay, just give me a moment to share my screen with you. Is it on? All right, am I on full screen now? All good? You guys can hear me too? Show me some good sign. All right. Okay, good morning. Hi, guys. Hello, hello. So we had a simple introduction earlier already. We have people from all around Sarawak and KL as well. Those are the few that I managed to come across earlier. Thank you for joining me from near and afar. And we are still in the month of March. So I'll start off by wishing everyone, especially the ladies, happy International Women's Day. So off to allowing you to get to know me a little bit better before we proceed. So basically, for more than 10 years now, through career changes, different industries, what I do from day to day is mainly analytical problem solving and making things happen. Whether it is for the company that I work for or the clients that we serve, I'm currently attached with a creative agency offering branding and marketing services. So it is a lot about seeing to what our clients need and also making things happen for them as well. So I've always loved the energy of making things happen. So this has drawn me to become quite involved in events as well, whether it's organizing one or hosting one. But the event world that we come to know today is a little bit different from what we were once familiar with, right? It's all online now, and the immediate reaction have all been dialed down a few seconds behind, depending on your internet connection. Well, today I'll be sharing with you as the chapter lead of WomenWill Sarawak to raise awareness on gender equality. And what I'll ask for the room today is to make this experience fun for the both of us. Feel free to populate the chat room as we go along. We may not be able to interact as much directly, but I'd love to read your thoughts as well after my session, as I won't be able to see the chat while the screen is on while I'm sharing my screen. All right, let's make the best out of the virtual tools that we have. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a little bit of introduction about WomenWill. It was launched in 2014. WomenWill is actually a Grow with Google program. And what we do, we address the gaps in information and empowerment to help women move forward to achieving their full potential. So it focuses on programs for the economic empowerment for women. And here's to let you have an insight of the training programs that WomenWill provide. So some of the programs that we actually carry includes digital literacy, entrepreneurship, inclusive workspace, and also leadership. So we drive conversation through thought leadership as well as to help advocate change. Now, our objective is always, just to give you an idea, is always to first raise awareness and then help women advocate for themselves so that they can achieve their goals. And how do we accomplish this? First, through training, teaching our participants to recognize and address systemic and personal barriers. And then from there, we would begin to explore, we would discuss and address further on the unique issues presented by different industries. And this will then be followed by providing guidance and coaching to our participants. Okay, so since its launch now, a number of WomenWill events have already been held here in Sarawak. But take note that it's not just Sarawak who is helping women to move forward. That's WomenWill Global right there for you, along with chapter leads from all over the world. We have come together to volunteer, get trained by Google to bring this program to our local communities. And as of today, there are about 50 countries now working together to support women through this program. Now, wherever you are joining this event, joining the event today, I'll also encourage that you have a pen and paper with you, so you could also take down some notes on what matters to you and journal your learning progress is always great. Write down what inspires you today and what can be useful in the long run. So WomenWill programs, they are actually designed for 3 hours program at the very least, if not a full day or 3 days event. And I'd like to make the best out of the short few minutes we have together. Though we can't go through the full program, I hope to be able to at least provide you with a sense of our workshops, starting with the introduction to WomenWill culture of learning. So keep an open mind, engage, share, as that is how we can learn from one another. And I believe this is not only useful for today's event, and they are also great practices for us to carry in our everyday lives to learn. All right, having said that, okay, I would like to invite our participants to join in on a very simple practice of setting intention. I can't see it, but I'll take a look at it right after this. And I believe that our organizers and also the speakers to come, they'll love to see this as well. So if you have a piece of paper with you, you can just write it down to answer this 2 questions. So I know why I'm here today. We know why we're here today, but how about you? Why are you here today? So if you can, just write down on a piece of paper on what prompted you to join today's event and what you hope to gain from this event. And for those of you who are a little braver, you can also type it out in the chat room just to share. This is the culture that we like to cultivate, to share and to learn from one another. So there's no right or wrong answer, really. It is your intention, it is your goal, and it can be different from every individual. With clarity of your intentions, it will affect your experience and what you will walk away with. I'm hoping to see some responses there. Okay, go ahead and take your time to type it out. And if you feel braver, just share with us in the chat room, all right? So I'm gonna let you know, we're just gonna go through a little bit of what I will cover today with you. I'm not able to share the whole WomenWill content with you today, as I mentioned earlier, but as the first to open today, and on the occasion of celebrating women, I thought I'll bring to light on what I like to call the WomenWill's glossary of awareness, just to set the context a little for today's event. And we'll also take a look into the landscape of women. So these are some of the things that we will be covering. And I'm going to dive right into it now, into our very first glossary today, which is empowerment. Why empowerment? It's the events team empowerment from within, right? I believe all can agree that this is a fundamental right to being human, and gender differences has no play in this word. The word I would like you to focus on here is the word process. Now, empowerment is a process, not an end product. Our learning and our growing only stops when you allow it to stop. Sometimes we look at a word so frequently that we forgot its significance and what it actually means. Empowerment. What is empowerment actually? And in this process of empowerment, we also need to recognize something. We need to recognize that there will be setbacks, there will be obstacles as well. But here is the thing, where we can anticipate them, whatever obstacles that may be ahead of us will hold less power against us. So say simply, by joining an event like today, you are actually in the process of being empowered already. With knowledge and information comes awareness, and with awareness comes empowerment. This will come in handy later, and you'll get to see where this empowerment is happening all throughout your learning process. And off to our second glossary. What do we mean when we talk about women shared experiences? So we're going to look at some of these issues of gender disparity in general and how they actually manifest themselves in our environment. Okay, we'll take a look at this cartoon first, a little bit of a dry humor there. Just populate the chat box as much as you like. I would love to see your response there. What do you think of this? How many actually feel that this cartoon reflects a reality for many women? Yes? No? We're setting a little bit of context, diving in now. Now, around the globe, from generation to generation and for decades, women have faced similar challenges that are different from men. A large part of it is actually determined by traditional gender roles that have been accepted by society over time. They are compounded by a few factors: societal expectations, cultural norms, and gender double standards. These are the few key things. And like it or not, apart from biological differences, differences in experience, they do exist between men and women, and they have an impact for women in the workplace and beyond. And this is what we're trying to cover and have a look at today. Now, for women to become leaders in the world we live in, we may have to overcome some of these obstacles we face daily. Bear in mind our first glossary again, empowerment. When you know, you can counter better as well. Okay, here's the second example that we have. Now, this second word right here, gender double standard. So here's to paint a picture of the double standard women also has to face. So this is a social experiment by a Canadian mayor. During the election campaign, he actually repeatedly hear comments about the outward appearance direct, and then it's always only directed to female candidates. So he decided to do something. He decided to wear the same suit for 15 months, and actually nobody made a single comment about it. So this is very real. This is very true. This is a social experiment that is, it has proved itself. But women are also tangled in the web of trying to live up to stereotypes reinforced by culture, and not just the culture, but also the media. There are plenty of, more blatant double standard. But from this, we can see how women's capabilities and skill sets can often be minimized with the media constantly reinforcing the value of women only on their outward appearance, right? Okay. Now let's take we'll watch this short clip together. I'll be sharing a few with you today. And this one's from Pantene, a campaign addressing the issue of double standards, which is a woman shared experience as well. So pay attention to the contrast that you'll be seeing here. Let me just make sure that I have shared my sound. If there's any issue of hearing the video sound, do let me know. Okay.
All around me are familiar faces, worn places, worn out faces, bright and early for their daily races, going nowhere, and their tears are filling up their glasses. No expression, no expression. Mad world, mad world.
Sorry, forgot to unmute myself there. So how was that? How was that video to you? Any of you feel like, it's something that you have experienced before as well? It's very clear here that the video paints a picture of how men and women are judged, right? Or labeled differently for the same actions. So it's actually the same action. It's positively correlated to men and negatively correlated to female. Now, if any of these, resonate to you, it illustrates the double standards that women actually have to face in everyday situation. They can be even more prevalent in the workplace environment, maybe not so much in school, and it acts to basically undermine women. And there's basically no good coming out of it for any kind of stereotyping. You can try to think about it. Basically, there's barely ever any good that comes out from any kind of stereotyping. On the contrary, it is very limiting. This is the word that I want you to take away today when you think about double standards, and when you think about stereotype, limitation. Think about the word limitation, because that's what they are. These labels, they create double bind situation, and it does not quite benefit anyone, and more often than not, it makes it difficult for women to advance. All right, with that said, we can't change ourselves, but we can't change others, but we can change ourselves. So we can never really fully escape bias, and that is the truth. If you have a brain, you have unconscious biases in you. Just as it is with any other change, the change has to start within ourselves first. Now, in this next video, I would like to invite you to join women all around to choose to challenge. That is the theme of International Women's Day 2021. And Taylor University has actually produced a wonderful video for this campaign. We'll take a look together.
Selamat pagi kelas. Hari ini Putri akan kongsikan cita-cita Putri dengan kita.
Cita-cita saya adalah untuk menjadi Perdana Menteri wanita yang pertama di Malaysia.
How can a girl rise to the top if she's always told that only men should lead? How can a girl engineer new discoveries if she's expected to just play with dolls? How can a girl chart her own path?
Help me build my future, create a company, and become a top CEO.
What about marriage, Tila? Can you get married by the age of 30?
If she's always told that her future depends on a man? How can a girl innovate and create?
Yeah, so dirty one. You are girl ma, ask your brother do it lah.
If she's never allowed to get her hands dirty? How can a girl aspire to be a brilliant mind if all she's ever judged for is her body? It's time we let girls be more than just delicate and pretty. She could one day be an inventor, a pioneer of ways to make things work better, a thinker of great ideas, a game changer, an industry shaker, a dreamer, but also tomorrow's leader. If there's anything a girl should be, it's limitless.
How was that? I'm quite curious to also find out what our male participants think about that video. Are you aware? Are you actually aware that these are experiences that are shared by women? So populate the chat box. Let me know how you feel after watching this video. Have you been aware of it? Or you never actually saw the layers of the complexity of how, you know, all these factors that actually can form a person. And what was the final line over there? What a girl should be? Limitless. So that was really empowering. I thought that was a really good video to share with everyone. So I believe what we just watched in that video is something that, especially for those of us who grow up in the Asian community, we could relate to it. I can definitely relate to it. So I don't know about the younger generation. So do populate the chat box and let me know. For those of you who are maybe at your 20s, or 18, populate. How is it like for you growing up? Is it still the same? Are you still going through the same experience as well? So these are things that really we come to be. These are called social conditioning, how we are brought up. And once we come to be aware on all this social conditioning and the world that we live in, we can then actually free ourselves from being defined by it. It happens to almost every one of us, really. Every one of us, little or less, we are held back from how we are conditioned, and it actually defines us. And sometimes could be true, depending on how far you allow it to be true. All right, so we're gonna take a look now. The next step, after you understand the actual social condition, then the next step is to recognize personal barriers within ourselves. And many of these personal barriers, they are actually self-imposed, whether it's consciously or unconsciously. So these are the top personal barriers that women experience and they have shared with us. Social conditioning it shows just how far its reaching impacts us, and this extends to the way we view ourselves, the way we live, even the way we communicate and understand one another. So we recognize that these factors form us, and we don't intend to reduce them because they are actually very real and very prevalent for many women. It's therefore important to develop, what WomenWill tries to do is to develop strategies to recognize these challenges and address them. And with awareness, we are one more step closer to being empowered, and we can learn and practice ways to avoid them from becoming of disadvantages to us. Okay, so I wouldn't want you to leave without any takeaways. Like I said, we have really short time together. So here are a few key things when it comes to how to overcome and how to really know yourself and without being defined by all these factors. Now, the first thing first that you need to do would be to do a proper personal assessment and taking stock of yourself from an objective perspective. So don't go self-sabotaging yourself first. Don't go self-sabotaging your aspirations first based on what others have to say. That could be based on, it's a bias and a limiting point of view. And this is one of the ways that you can do it. It's wonderful, anagram. So if you would like to try this out, you can just Google this, and there are plenty of free anagram tests online. I've tried it. I've tried plenty before, and it's really accurate and it's really detailed as well. It's a great way to get to know yourself. So if you would like to do this practice later, just write it down, take note of it, And this is a great way to learn, a great way to start to actually know yourself better. Okay, and the next thing that we're going to look at is to, because what hold us back very often is all kinds of fears from within. And overall, both fear or anxiety, they are basically negative drivers. They can have great effect on our perception, on our behavior, or even our physicality. Don't let them get the best of you. So step one, what do you got to do? You have to face them head on and see if they are really valid fears. So this is really great practice. It takes some time to actually master it, and I'm still learning as well. So sometimes we can have so much, voices running through our head, and we imagine maybe if I say this to a person, will it cause this person to not like me? Will this person judge me as so and so? And then what happens when this thought comes to your mind? Counter this thought, and ask yourself, who say so? Ask yourself, who say so? Did you experience this firsthand? Is it a fact that this person will feel this way about you? Or is it all but an imagined fear? So that is what it means to recognize your fear. Is it a threat? Is the threat real, or is it imagined? And the second one, how do you overcome your fear? Reframe your mind. You probably cannot find even one successful entrepreneur who can tell you that they have never failed before, and probably all will be telling you how much they have learned the most from their failures instead. So instead of being fearful of failing, why not change and reframe your mind and see failures as learning opportunities? And that way, they become less scary, right? So recognize these voices in your head. See whether they are beneficial or they are damaging. If they are not useful, then eliminate, get rid of it. Yes, this is the part. Most of the time when we struggle, we think that we are struggling alone as well. Now, one of the things to overcome fear is also to know that you are not alone. If you think you are, think again. Because being self-critical, this feeling of inadequacy is actually a very common feeling. And those who struggle the most with this are actually the high achievers, the perfectionists, those who know what they don't know and feel that they are not good enough. It actually takes practice to slowly learn to own your success. So, I'll give you some tools. A great teacher once shared with me before, and she says her way of overcoming all these fears is to remind herself, is to tell herself that whatever I'm going through right now, I am not the first, I'm not the only one at the moment, and I certainly also will not be the last. So this has actually helped me greatly along my journey, and maybe it can be useful to you as well. So that's right. And after you have, once you have clarity, intention, awareness, and knowledge, and a better understanding of who you are, then you're ready to go out there. Now, the easiest way to start the process of overcoming your personal barriers is to actually step out of your comfort zone. When you take these steps, you can actually retain the belief systems of your brain and increase the confidence over time. It takes time and it takes practice. So once you're ready, you got to get out there and start networking. If you follow the lead of people who have had successful careers, they will inevitably point to the value of their networking as a key contributing factor. So just remember a few things about successful networking. It isn't about you. Look at networking as an opportunity to learn more about others and hone your skills. Schedule times to speak with associates and colleagues, or volunteer to be part of a company, committee or association. They can bring a wealth of networking opportunities. There is no magic formula. It's just the more you do it, the better you will get at it. And these are also more to give away. Put yourself out there. Remember, it can happen anytime and anyway, and focus on the relationship, but not the transaction. Okay, before I end my session, just a little bit of a homework for the participants. This is something that we do in WomenWill as well, because it is you. It is very much all about you. I can't decide this for you. I can guide you, I can give you the tools to get there. So what I'd like you to do is you have joined this event, you've taken the step for empowerment. What I'd like you to do is to write down on a piece of paper. You can do this later, or you can do this right after my session, by all means. But this is for you to know. This is just for you. After this, answer these 3 questions. Think about, as of today, how far you have come. Look at all the things that you have already achieved. And then, second, look at what is stopping you to actually go further. There's a second question to answer. And number 3, what must you do to get there? All right. So I wish you best of luck, and I'll actually close with this one final short clip to share with you.
If we show emotion, we're called dramatic. If we want to play against men, we're nuts. And if we dream of equal opportunity, delusional. When we stand for something, we're unhinged.
It's Sue Bird's gonna need to calm down.
When we're too good, there's something wrong with us. And if we get angry, we're hysterical or rational or just being crazy. But a woman running a marathon was crazy.
Officials tried to pull her off the course.
A woman boxing was crazy. A woman dunking? Crazy. Coaching an NBA team? Crazy. A woman competing in a hit job, changing her sport, landing a double cork 1080, or winning 23 Grand Slams, having a baby, and then coming back for more? Crazy, 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 and crazy. So if they want to call you crazy, fine. Show them what crazy can do.
Okay, so that's that from me today. It's true enough. Words are just words, and they can only hurt us as much as we allow it to hurt us, right? So thank you for having me and spending your time on Saturday morning with us. I look forward to all the wonderful lineup of speakers after this, and I'll be joining you and to learn with you as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Clara.